Ram has dumped the V8 engine. Boo! But this new 6-cylinder Hurricane engine that powers the updated Ram 1500 range is actually way better. It's got more power, more torque, better fuel efficiency, and it's still got big towing capacity as well. In this video, I'm going to tell you what it's like to drive with this new 6-cylinder engine and all the other stuff you need to know, including the best alternatives too. So stick around. If you haven't already, please subscribe and ring the bell, and let's get to it. This updated version of the Ram 1500 is available in two specs initially, and they're expensive compared to what came before it. There's no bighorn model anymore, and well, the price of entry into the Ram 1500 lineup is significantly higher as a result of that if you're after this 6-cylinder engine. So the entry-level version is called the Laramie Sport, and it costs the same as the V8 powered version, just over $140,000 for that one. It does have heaps and heaps of standard equipment though, including 20-inch alloy wheels, LED headlights, a panoramic glass roof, a power tailgate with a one-touch close function, just like this model. There's also the Ram box storage system at the back. You've also got automatic lowering and retracting side steps, multiple drive modes, and inside you're getting plenty of great stuff like a 12.3-inch digital instrument cluster, a 14.4-inch infotainment screen. There's also a screen for the passenger as well, and you've got wired and wireless Apple CarPlay and Android Auto, wireless phone charging, and a 19-speaker Harman Kardon sound system. But if you want this one here, which is the more richly specified limited version, we have to pay a little bit more to get it. In fact, it costs $159,950 plus on-road costs, which is $3,000 more than the V8 model it replaces, but gets things like 22-inch alloy wheels and air suspension with 3 different modes. There's animated LED lighting, you've got proximity lighting as well, massaging front seats, a digital rear view mirror, and it gets a high output tune of the new 6-cylinder engine. So let's talk about that shortly, but we're going to get to some alternatives to this first, because there's some good ones. If you still really want a V8 powered big truck, your only option left is the Chevy Silverado. And in my opinion, it's probably the best alternative because of that, because that 6.2 litre V8 petrol engine in that model is bloody excellent. It sounds fantastic. It drives really well, and it's very, very macho. I really like the look of it. I think it's fantastic in terms of its stance. Its interior space is excellent, and it's cheaper too, so it could be a really great option if you are thinking with your wallet. If you're not, well, you might want to consider the Toyota Tundra, which is quite expensive by class standards, and in fact there's a new Platinum model which is even more expensive, and it does really push the budget quite a bit. It's a fantastic engine in that one, a 6-cylinder, but it does also have plenty of space, plenty of tech, and plenty of spec, even though it does feel a bit cheap inside in the entry-level version for the kind of cash that's being asked. And finally, there's the F-150 from Ford, the remanufactured version built by Ford Australia. Hasn't had the greatest path in its initial stages. It's been a little bit plagued by recalls and problems, and that could be enough to turn you off. But if you can get past that and you're okay with maybe taking a little bit of a risk, you're getting a really great thing to drive. Huge towing capacity, excellent drivability, great practicality on the inside, and a big tub as well. 2 different body styles available for that one, and that might be why you choose it. But which one of those tickles your fancy, or would you just go for the Ram 1500? Have your say in the comments. Okay, so this updated version of the Ram 1500 has seen a few changes. This one now gets 22-inch wheels, which look really pretty tough, I have to say. And in terms of the dimensions, there's not much in terms of the changes here. So it is still almost 6 meters long with a 3.6 meter wheelbase. I'll put all the dimensions on your screen now so you can see for yourself. Yes, you will need to be mindful of parking positions. And when it comes to your towing capacity, well, if you're fitting a 50mm tow ball on the back, it's 3,500 kgs, but if you go for a 70mm tow ball, you can get 4,200 kilo towing capacity braked for the limited version and 4,500 for the cheaper Laramie Sport version. And in terms of the payload capacity, well, the Laramie Sport also has an improvement there, 863 kgs versus 782 kgs for this one. I'll put some gross combination masses on your screen now as well. Yes, again, the base grade has the advantage. So if you are actually planning to use this vehicle for its full potential, you will probably want to opt for that base grade version. Now, they all come as standard now with these RAM boxes at the back. These are pretty handy. They are linked to the central locking system, which is excellent. And you can open them like so. So this gives you a sealed section of storage in addition to the tub area, and it's lockable and it's drainable, and it does actually make a bit of a difference in terms of that space being used. They're on both sides, as you'll see. And in terms of the back end here, well, tow bar standard, a side step section on this side, so you can hoik yourself up into the back because it is a bit of a hike. And you're also getting things like a trailer camera view hookup, which is excellent, plus your regular wiring, and electronic brake controller is standard too. Now, let's have a look at this soft open tailgate. Press that button and whoa. Amazing. Excuse the dirt in there. Went off-road a little bit the other day, and you can see in there that you do have a partition system for that tub as well, a bed liner in there, and a cover section as well on this particular vehicle at least. It's a huge tub. I'll put the dimensions on your screen. I'm not going to take the cover off because they all look like tubs when you take covers off. So, and obviously there's a bunch of accessories you might want to fit in the tub as well. Now, let me close this up. It does have a quick close as well. I love that. I think that's just a nice luxury touch. You'd want to have luxury for this kind of cash. Underneath, there's a space saver spare wheel. It's a 20-inch rim, but hey, better to have a spare than none at all. The interior of the Ram 1500 feels pretty luxurious. For a big truck, this high-spec version does live up to what you would expect because you're paying a fair amount of coin for it. It's fair to say, but you do get some really good tech in here as well. So in front of the driver, there is a driver info display with multiple different configurations and, well, ways that you can interact with it as well. So you do have adjustability in terms of being able to see what you want to see on that screen, and it is actually pretty bloody handy if you are the sort of person who wants to see specific metrics, especially if you're towing or something like that. Being able to configure that using the controls on the steering wheel is excellent. You've also got drive mode controls on the steering wheel here, cruise control controls here, and you've also got adaptive cruise control or normal cruise control. That's the two different ones there. You can adjust your gearing there, and you've got a single stalk on this side for your wipers and blinkers and lights as well. So that takes some learning, I have to say. Down here is where you'll find your gear selector. It's a rotary dial. You can have it in two-wheel drive or four-wheel drive auto on sealed surfaces. You've got high and low range there as well. An axle lock if you want to use that, if you find yourself in some more treacherous situations. And there's plenty of other stuff on this screen that we need to go through as well. So portrait style screen, very easy to get your head around the controls here for the most part, I would say. And I love the fact that you do have a lane keeping off button there. If you don't want lane keeping on, you can just have the button there and it stays off if you don't want it on. So that's excellent. And I also like that Ram has finally fixed this conundrum that it had before. So previously, the steering wheel icon and the steering wheel heating was still on that side of the screen, whereas now it aligns on the right side because it's on the right side. So yes, that's good to see. You've got your fan controls over here, your temperature control as well for that side, and you've got dual zone climate of course too. Aircon, recirc, volume and tuning dials. Thankfully, you can quickly turn off the screen there if you don't want it on. It gives you an idea of how many fingerprints there are on there. But yes, it does make a difference in terms of the usability here. Now, down below, you've also got some more controls, so you can quickly jump into your vehicle screen. If there's specifics that you want to have a look at using that, you can go into set up your towing and trailers and so forth. There's heaps of different settings on offer here. You can go into your sat nav, hitting the button down the bottom there as well. Comfort controls are there too, so if there's anything in particular that you're trying to adjust and you can't find it, even your massage function for this high-spec version, that's on screen. You've got media controls. There is a basically a home screen setting here as well, so you can go in there. But I've just basically been using Apple CarPlay for the most part during my time in this car because thankfully it's been relatively fault-free, and that's a good thing. Now, down here you'll also find you've got some adjustments for the car. So you can turn off your parking sensors. If you're off-roading and they're getting on your nerves, you can do that there. You've got your brake gain controller and your electronic brake controller switch module down there as well. And here you can adjust the height of the vehicle. So if you want to raise it up, you can do that by hitting the up button, or down by hitting the down button. If you get on the highway, it will lower itself down for a more aerodynamic mode. You've got off-road heights, 2 different off-road heights in fact, so that's good to see. And I do think that it is a pretty good bit of technology, this screen. It does well, come together pretty well in terms of the usability. Now, I'm going to jump into the passenger seat in a sec and show you the screen there, but I want to show you some other things up here first. So you've got an electric camera mirror here. So you can see there, you can see not as much. If you hit that switch, you can see much, much more. It does make driving this car a lot easier in traffic, and I do like it. You've got a sunglasses holder up there. You've got your controls for your sunroof in this grade here. So yeah, it's a pretty big glass roof, and there's a shade that you can open in 2 stages, as you can see there. And you can also open that very back window if you want to, using that switch bank up there too. That's called a gun window, I believe, in some places. But yeah, those switches up there, easy to get your head around. You can even open the tailgate if you need to, just tap that twice. You've got some illuminated vanity mirrors up here, and these little hooks up here are actually pretty handy. You can put your parking ticket in there. These also adjust, so you can basically stop the light from coming in at certain angles, and it does make a difference if you're driving in the afternoon. Now let's look at the storage between the seats before I jump in there and show you that screen. So you've got a wireless phone charger there, and there you've got multiple USB and USB-C ports, a HDMI port as well. You've got a movable section here, so you can adjust this. So you've got cup holders there if you want them. You've got some extra storage. You've got a more storage section behind there if you want that, with a nice little illustration embossed in there. And you've also got some more illustration-y stuff here with maths. That makes my brain hurt just thinking about tan and cos. Now in here, you've got another storage bin with your logbooks and more USB-age. And there you've got some cup holders for those sitting in the back. Over here, yeah, a glove box, which is great to see. Now I'm going to jump in this side and show you this screen. Okay, so it is a little bit washed out, this screen, in terms of the design of it. It sort of seems like it's been designed so the driver can't see it, but the passenger can also barely see it as well. But you can adjust some elements here if you want to. So you've got different audio settings that you can adjust from there. You can go to live radio, you can listen to different radio stations. You've got a HDMI viewer here, so that's what that port over there was for, so you can watch HDMI. Maybe you want to play a video game console or something there. And you've also got some limited controls there as well, and yes, you can connect up wireless headphones. You can see some messages if there's anything that comes up, and look, I think it's cool to have a little screen there, but it's certainly not as high-tech as it could be. But hey, you've also got extra storage on this side of the central tunnel here. It is very, very accommodating in terms of the storage. There's multiple cup holders down here, big trenches in the doors, another little trench under the armrest, and it really does have plenty of stuff going on in here. And hey, let's check out the backseat space and see what it's like. And let me show you this as well. These opening little side steps, they're so good, and they go away nicely as well when you close the door, which is excellent. All right, let me jump into the back behind the driver's seat, show you the positioning. Right, so here you'll see heaps of legroom for someone my size. I'm a 6-footer, lots and lots of legroom, lots and lots of footroom, heaps of headroom as well. Maybe not as much as you might be expecting, but still enough considering you've got the big panoramic glass roof. What is annoying back here, no grab handles on the top, but you do have hoik handles to get you into the vehicle. You've got some hooks up here, some lights as well. And there's a few other things that are maybe missing back here. You don't get a climate control module in the back of this vehicle, so you can't individually adjust the temperature in the very back, but you do get heated and ventilated second row seats, which is a nice bonus. USBs are plenty there. A strange little blank plate there, which I don't love. And you've got your directional vents there. Little storage tray in there. Map pockets, more cup and bottle storage in the doors. And you do have also a flip down section here with more storage if you want to use extra cup holders, if you're using it as a 4-seater, and yep, some more storage. But take note here, you do have a top tether ring in the middle and top tethers on the outboard seats as well. Plus you've got isofix points here and here and here. So in theory, you could fit 3 child seats across the back, probably with space to spare, because bloody hell, it is an expansive amount of room in this second row. There's also some other clever stuff I want to show you in terms of storage. Let me pop out and just lift this up and show you. Yes, you've got extra storage underneath there, and yes, you've got storage on both sides underneath there. So you could maybe put some stinky fish bait or something in there if you really wanted to. Don't forget that it's in there, of course, but it's a very, very practical amount of space and super passenger friendly and child seat friendly too. The updated Ram 1500 now comes with a 3-litre twin-turbo straight 6-cylinder engine, but it's available in 2 different tunes. So the Laramie Sport gets the standard output 3-litre with 313 kilowatts, 635 newton meters, and this version, the 1500 Limited, has more power and more torque. 403 kilowatts, 707 newton meters. That is a whole heap of grunt. Both versions come as standard with an 8-speed torque converter automatic transmission with switchable 4-wheel drive. And well, the fuel consumption stuff, we'll get to that shortly. There's some stuff you need to know. I miss the V8. I've said it. Look, I really, really liked the Ram 1500 with the V8 engine. I thought it was excellent. Maybe a little bit lazy and a bit doughy at times, but wow, did it sound good when you gave it a boot full. Now let's move on. It's gone. Forget about it. Now you've got this 3-litre straight 6 twin turbo. This one is the high output version, and it is way better. Way better in terms of the responsiveness, the refinement, and the day-to-day drivability. This makes a huge difference to the way that this vehicle behaves itself. It makes it feel smaller, and that could be all you really need to know, because it makes it feel like a more agile and lighter vehicle, because it is a bit lighter, but it's also a bit more agile because it doesn't have quite as much weight at the front axle, and it doesn't have as much lagginess in terms of having to rev it harder to get the most out of it. Now, the torque really comes on early with this vehicle, with this new engine, and it makes a huge difference because it has more zest, more urgency, and quicker responsiveness. And I guess that's all you really need to know about the engine. This one's better. I haven't had a chance to tow with it yet though. Didn't get a chance for this loan to be able to hook up the caravan to the back and see what it's really like in terms of efficiency and power, but it's got more torque, so I'm sure it's going to be fine. But look, as I said, I miss the V8, but I like this engine more in terms of usability. It's just the reality. And I think you'll find that too if you're a V8 owner and you're considering the new 1500. Yeah, have your say in the comments if you've test driven it, because I'd love to know what you reckon. But this 8-speed automatic is also excellent. It's well behaved. I've had it in a mixture of the 2-wheel drive and 4-wheel drive auto modes. I drove on some slipperier surfaces the other day, took a detour, got lost, ended up having some fun. But yeah, no serious off-roading in this review either. And in wet road situations, if you do put it into 4-wheel drive auto, you can rest assured that you're gonna have plenty of grip, especially with these 22-inch Pirelli tires. They do a pretty good job in terms of keeping things in line. Now the steering to me feels a little bit lighter compared to the existing model, probably due to the fact that it's got a lighter engine at the front, and I guess that plays a part. And I also think that the ride remains very, very good. Now this one does have the air suspension system, and it handles bumps admirably. Like, it is surprisingly good for a car on 22-inch wheels with relatively low profile tires for a pickup truck. that weighs this much, it sort of just coasts over bumps. It's got a long wheelbase, so of course it does have a pretty measured and controlled ride to it, but it also handles itself through corners pretty well. Sure, there is some body roll to contend with, and you sort of do find yourself flopping around in these seats. They're not the most supportive seats. They are comfortable though. So look, I think if you're expecting a sports truck experience, you might not get it, but you will get a very, very enjoyable and comfortable big truck experience in the Ram 1500. In terms of the ride comfort, like I said, it's very good. Steering's good, engine's great, transmission's bloody good as well. One other thing you need to keep in mind though, it does have a bit of a strange brake pedal feel. It's not the greatest responsiveness, it feels a little bit airy when you do tap the pedal, but I think you'll get used to it pretty quickly, especially if you remember that you're driving something that's almost 6 meters long and weighs as much as this does. Another great bonus with this car is no annoying safety chimes. There is no bing bong bullshit here. So it does have a speed sign recognition system in this high grade version, but it doesn't beep like so many of them do and flash at you and tell you that you're not paying attention and all that stuff. It just doesn't do that. And I like it for that. It makes a big difference to living with it and actually enjoying driving it. And the refinement isn't bad either. In fact, that's what's potentially surprised me the most over my time with this car. It's a quieter experience. It's more, I guess, easygoing when you're doing highway Ks. I did a trip in this car the other day where I did 500 Ks and I didn't get out of it feeling fatigued or labored at all. And it had pretty surprising fuel consumption as a result of my mix of driving. In fact, let's talk about that now. All right, there's a bit of information about this fuel situation that you need to keep in mind. Now, the existing V8, well, it was a bit thirsty. This one is not as fuel efficient as I was maybe hoping it might be, both on paper and in reality. Now, on screen, I'm gonna show you some numbers for the standard output and the high output models. So there's a difference in terms of the fuel consumption for both. And there's also a difference in terms of the fuel requirement for them. So the base model you can run on 91 regular unleaded. This one has to run on 95. And this one has a bigger fuel tank capacity as well. You'll see the figures on screen now. So there's some numbers there that you need to pay attention to, which might affect which version is going to be right for you. But if you're wondering what I've seen across my time testing this vehicle, I did about 500 Ks of highway and country driving the other day, plus a mix of urban freeway and commuting and day-to-day and that sort of stuff. And I've seen 12.8 litres per 100 Ks, which is above the claim and a little bit higher than I was expecting, to be honest. I don't think it's bad for this vehicle. In fact, I think it's pretty impressive for a vehicle of this size and this weight with this capability. But yeah, it's going to be, I mean, surprise, surprise, not the most efficient thing to own in terms of the fuel consumption. But does it really bloody matter? You tell me what you reckon. There's no ANCAP or Euro NCAP rating for the Ram 1500, but it does have a high NHTSA rating from America, and it is very, very comprehensively equipped when it comes to the safety technology and equipment. Thankfully, none of it's annoying either. Bonus, you've got things like autonomous emergency braking with pedestrian and cyclist detection. There's lane keeping assistance, adaptive cruise control, blind spot monitoring, rear cross traffic alert, and you're getting plenty of extra features if you shop up to the high spec version. It adds front parking sensors in addition to the rear parking sensors, and it also adds a surround view camera, which you should get standard in a vehicle this size. I'm bloody surprised that you don't. The base model gets just a reversing camera and rear parking sensors. This one gets, as I said, front parking sensors and a surround view camera. That's not a luxury, people. That should be standard, in my opinion, for a car of this price and this size. Bit of a misstep, I reckon. And this version also gets traffic sign recognition, but I've noticed that the little indicator that comes up on the dashboard doesn't get it right all the time. Thankfully, it doesn't beep and bong at you though. So from the safety perspective, I mean, it's okay, but it's a little bit hit and miss in terms of the standard spec that you should get. You're spending 140 grand plus on a truck. If it's all sounded pretty promising up to this point, there's some bad news here. So the Ram 1500 only comes with a 3-year, 100,000 kilometre warranty. That is below the average in Australia. Most vehicles now have a 5-year warranty. This is low for the market, and it's also got 3 years of roadside assistance included, which is again a little bit shorter than most. Plus the service intervals are shorter than most too, 12 months and 12,000 kilometers. You might be okay with that if you're worried about maintaining a high output engine like this, but it's a bit more regular than some alternatives that you might want to consider. And there's no cap price servicing plan, so you have no idea what it might end up costing you unless you maybe speak to your dealership, and they should be able to give you an idea about what those maintenance costs will be. But still, it's not ideal in terms of the ownership stuff, in my opinion. It's lost a little bit of its charm and charisma by losing its V8 engine, but honestly, this engine is better in every measurable metric. It's got more power, more torque, better fuel efficiency, and it still manages to do the same sort of towing stuff that the existing one did. And it's easier to live with as well. But, I mean, you tell me, would you put up with it without a V8 engine? And is it right for you? I'd love to know your thoughts. Thanks for watching, thanks for subscribing, and I'll see you when I see you.